Hey everybody, it's Roberto. So I know it's been a while since I've done one of these vlogs, but there've just been a lot of things going on. I've been super busy with the design business. You see that the YouTube videos have been coming out. A lot of that's been pre-recorded stuff so that I could keep putting out content. There were a few days there where I actually was sick. I had food poisoning, so I had to really heavily rely on that back catalog of content that I already recorded and that I needed to edit because I couldn't film new stuff while I wasn't feeling well. So it's really good that I have a strategy in place for that. But anyway, today's vlog is going to be about the importance of confidence in creativity. A lot of you have asked me my thoughts on this, and we've had some conversations in social media. And while I think it's possible to be successful as an introverted and shy person, whether you're creative or whether you're intelligent, whether you're a programmer, a designer, a photographer, I think that it's entirely possible if you're an introvert for you to be successful without being extroverted or having to change yourself. But I think the value that you'd have to create to be successful in that way would be so tremendous and just to such a magnitude that on some level your personality won't deter or hinder you from the success that you want. But I preface that with saying that you're going to have it easier if you were more outgoing or extroverted, or at least had the ability to promote yourself and present very well and to speak confidently in public or on video. I think that that would help you a lot more than relying on people to acknowledge the quality of your work and value it appropriately. That's leaving a lot to chance. The more you put yourself out there, the more of a demand you create, and the more of a demand you create, the more you raise your value. So there is something to that, and I think it's something many of you are overlooking, and you're thinking, quality, yes, I always say it, quality work speaks for itself, quality work above anything else. Me and tons of other people say that all the time, and it is true. But there is a such thing as the value of awareness of the existence of that quality work, and that becomes the bottleneck and the problem at that point. And so it's a matter of, yes, I do this quality work that nobody ever sees. I can't tell you how many amazing artists, amazing photographers, amazing illustrators I know that are doing something less than what they dreamed of doing for the simple fact that they lack the ability and the confidence to effectively promote themselves, and they're more concerned with not tooting their own horn and being perceived as being arrogant. They're more concerned with being perceived as arrogant than the reality of being successful. And that's my point of view and my opinion on what they're doing, because I think, and I try to act on this myself, I think it's entirely possible to index very heavily on self-promotion, to put yourself out there, to be an extrovert, and to even be aggressive sometimes or what have you, and still be humble and grateful for where you are. I think people mistake humility for not talking about yourself. But if you have value to give and value to present, not talking about yourself is robbing other people of an opportunity of the value you create. You've now, instead of being humble, you're actually being self-deprecating. And there's a difference between being humble and being self-deprecating, because if you think so little of yourself that you're devaluing yourself. I have a friend who has worked in the film industry. I'm not going to talk too much about his work, but he's done stuff that you have seen for bigger companies, Marvel and Disney. He's done stuff that you've seen. He could teach you guys a tremendous amount of stuff about animation and about motion graphics, about rotoscoping, if he wanted to do that type of content. And I think he could actually make a living at that on top of what he's doing and get a lot of exposure, but he won't do it out of a sense of not feeling confident to speak on that and teach on that. And I asked him, it's like, how much more success do you need to feel confident? You've done work for Disney and Marvel. What benchmark of success do you need to feel confident that you have value to create for other people and that other people could benefit from? Because I've asked and I've learned things from him, and it just amazes me that the lack of self-awareness of the fact that you do have something to offer somebody, that there's somebody, whatever level you think you are, there's somebody that is looking up to you. There's someone who does value what you do. There is someone who respects it, and that you would rob them of that opportunity because you don't think you're good enough, that is a real problem in the world at large, and especially in the creative community. There was a lot of time for, I think, many years that I probably was doing the same thing, that I probably didn't think I was good enough to speak on something or to give advice or to qualify in whatever way to advise or counsel on something. And the reality is, there's somebody that I robbed of value by thinking that way, and by devaluing myself, I also robbed someone else of an opportunity to benefit from knowledge I had. And that's why I do a lot of what I do here on YouTube. Is I feel that if I don't do that, if I don't put the information out there, then that's a way that I'm not contributing. And I feel like I can and should do more, because I've been given ability, I've been given opportunity. I'm fortunate to have my skills, but also the control of my time by being just successful enough to be able to do that, and also the value of my health to be able to do that. Why not create that value, and why not invest in other people in that way? And again, that's if you believe in that sort of thing. There are people who are competitive in a weird way, and they don't believe in creating that kind of value because they think that they're giving away their secret sauce, or what's going to make them successful, or that people are going to take money out of their pockets by competing with them. And it's not been my experience. I don't believe the world works that way. I think there's enough success for everybody. But if you don't feel that way, if you're not confident enough in your ability and your skills to think that there's enough success for you and for other people, then I don't know what I can do to make you feel confident about that and to change your approach. But what I will say is that by devaluing yourself and by feeling that, well, that's humility, you're wrong. That's not humility. Humility would be not letting that success or the fact that people look up to you change you and inflate your sense of self to where you feel that you're too good for certain things. And there's a difference between feeling you're too good for certain things and actually recognizing what your value is and acting appropriately. It would not be appropriate for me to do certain jobs at a low rate. And part of that is because, for one thing, if I do for the level that I'm at, I wouldn't be respecting the value proposition of my own time and ability, but I'd also be robbing people who are just starting out of opportunities that are appropriate for them and that they could price appropriately for. So I'd be messing up the market that way, like the kids in Fiverr and like the people in Fiverr who really are worth more than $5 an hour, and they're devaluing and debasing themselves and devaluing our entire industry by doing these penny henny jobs for $5 and $10 and $20 that they really need to be charging 100, 150, 200, 250, whatever for, because they're afraid or they don't believe that someone will, well, no one will pay me that. Well, no one will pay me that. I can't tell you how many years I believed and told myself, well, no one will pay that, or no one will pay that. And it's a joke, because the reality was I wasn't doing enough of a good job as a salesman to command the pricing that I wanted. I wasn't communicating the upside. It's funny, Anthony Robbins, Tony Robbins to most of you, he says something interesting. The quality of your life is directly proportionate to the quality of your communication. I'm paraphrasing, that's my version of it. He says quality of life equals quality of communication. I preface it and say something slightly different. I paraphrase that the quality of your life is proportionate to the quality of your communication. And I would say to the quantity of your communication. I can't tell you how many opportunities I wouldn't have if I wasn't in YouTube. It's the fact that I had the confidence to be in YouTube, communicate effectively and appropriately in YouTube, and that I do it often enough at scale to where it can create tremendous value for other people, but also bring opportunities to me. And there's something to that. There's something to, well, if you want to be a successful writer, does that mean you write something once a year, or do you write something every day? Again, that's the quality and quantity of the communication of writing. If you want to be a blogger, or you want to be a paid writer, freelancer, a journalist, what have you, how are you respecting that dream enough to, one, put in quality work, but also enough of a volume and body of work that people can respect the effort and the hustle that you've put in? So, and do you have the confidence to believe that it'll pay off, and the patience to say, I'm willing to do this for a year, whether I see anything from it, because the awesome that I'm creating is valuable enough to me, the experience is valuable enough to me, and the value that it's creating for other people is valuable enough to me to say that if it doesn't make XYZ money, it still wasn't a waste and the ROI is there. There's a confidence level involved in that. But going back to the thing I was saying about pricing yourself, like the idea that, well, okay, if you create scenarios where because you're getting X amount per hour or X amount of gigs per month, it doesn't make sense for you to take that lower paying gig, and then you're able to respectfully communicate that, then it's going to change the game. Because if you can get like $100 an hour doing something, it's not even going to be a blip on your radar to do 10 hours of work for 150. It's just not. And you're going to be able to find a way to respectfully communicate that and say, well, my average project looks like this, so I don't think this would be an appropriate project for me, and I can recommend somebody. You can do that. I do that all the time. I give work to other people in that way all the time because there's stuff that I want to do differently with that time. I want to create videos for you guys. I want to create awesome video guides that are going to be coming out as a paid product. I want to create the free ebooks. And if I'm taking small jobs that don't have the value proposition of bigger jobs for less time, then I can't do that other stuff for you guys, and I can't create the value that I want for you. I can't create the legacy goals that I have. So I have to have the confidence and the belief in my abilities to say that I'm not going to suffer turning down this work if it means that I can do this bigger thing that I want to do, or this thing that's more personally valuable to me because of what it does on the legacy side or for the audience. There's work that I could probably be doing instead of making a video, but I value the relationship with the audience and the other opportunities that come from the videos enough not to do that other work sometimes. So it's just having the confidence to know your own story, know what you want to say, know that you're that introverted or extroverted person, and know, well, what's the gap between the results that I want and who I want to be versus who I am now. I wasn't always confident to speak publicly. I wasn't always confident to speak in front of a camera. I wasn't always confident in my appearance, even for social and casual stuff. I grew up with ugly duckling syndrome. I was bullied for being a nerd, and I was an extrovert as a child. I was bullied into being an introvert, honestly, and then I became an extrovert a little bit through the course of rebellion and being an angry teenager, and then back to being an introvert, on the work side of things, and then got into more marketing sales stuff, became super extroverted on that presentation, had a lot of fun with that, and then just stayed that course. And I think that it made a difference going back and forth. I see that what being quiet cost me and not creating relationships and experiences and putting myself out there cost me, versus going the other way and believing that I could be successful if I do give people the opportunity to see who I really am. So I think that you need to find the courage to be who you really are and just put it out there. I don't believe, honestly, that who you are is shy and extroverted. I think that who you are is someone who wants to be accepted and is afraid of the pain of rejection or disappointment. And so you've convinced yourself that it's easier to be quiet rather than to take the chance. They say that what is it they say? Something to the degree of better to be thought a fool and remain silent than to be open your mouth and remove all doubt, something like that. I used to quote that all the time, and you know what? I don't believe it anymore, because here's the thing. Most people are probably not capable of distinguishing between wisdom and foolishness most of the time. There's a book, it's funny, it's called The Wizard's First Rule. The Wizard's First Rule dictates that people are stupid. Anyone will believe anything given the right incentive of either wanting it to be true or being afraid that it is. And politicians, I've seen them use this all the time. I'm not going to go political except to say that if you can make people believe something, it's probably because they either desperately want to say, oh yes, I believe that this good thing is going to happen, or you can make them believe, oh yes, I absolutely believe that because I'm afraid, and that's terrible, and I absolutely believe that could happen, and now I'll take action because, yes, that's how that works. So understand that regardless of how foolish someone is when something comes out of their mouth, there's somebody somewhere who believes them, respects them, appreciates that. There are a lot of like fool people that we've all followed into something at some point. There are plenty of people who thought they were brilliant and followed some fool in investing into a certain stock and then it bottomed out. I mean, everybody has followed the advice of an idiot at some point, which means that in their mind at the time, it had tremendous value for them. So, what are you afraid of? Do you have such little confidence in yourself and think that you're so foolish that every time you open your mouth, you're going to immediately be struck down? Is that what you believe? I think it really comes down to just having the belief in yourself that, hey, I have the honest intention of creating value. And so if I can do that, I should. And if forced to justify or defend it, I have the capacity, the intelligence, and the courage to stand by that. There are people who disagree with me about things all the time, even here in the comment section of the channel. And I listen, I hear them out, but I'm ready to defend and justify and give the like 10-point list of why I made a statement or why I chose a position or a stance on the type of work or whatever it is that I put out there. And I think the other person on the other side in most cases is not willing to do that because they were more interested in just saying something than actually the follow through of that. Everything I say and that I do, I commit to it and my actions verify that. So there's the courage and the confidence not just to speak but to act, and to act from a place of good intentions and positivity versus just doing something or saying something for the sake of doing it. But anyway, I feel like I've rambled enough, and I think our original preface here was confidence and the courage to be yourself and to be creative, and to just really wrap that up. I would say that it's hard. It's not easy. I do not sit here with disrespect and say that, oh, you just need to get over it and be an extrovert. I say that it's a journey. It's that you have to decide if you're satisfied with who and what you are and the results that being who and what you are right now are bringing in your life, or do you think that you have growth and evolution that you can do that will produce tremendous results and value for you and other people that is appropriate? What is the level of awesome that you are comfortable creating going forward? Are you comfortable with how much awesome you're creating right now? Or do you feel like you can do more, you can do 5 or 10 times better? Because honestly, I'm not satisfied with the level of awesome that I'm doing. Getting out a YouTube video every day of the week, that's not enough for me. Getting out the weekly content for Creative Pro and the monthly content for How Design and Print Magazine, that's not enough for me. I need and want to do more. The 10 plus client projects a month, not enough for me. I need to create more value than that. I need to finish the Create Awesome book. I need to do the video guides. I need to do the ebooks. I personally, and it might be some of my own neuroses, I feel like I can do more. I feel like there's probably, people don't believe me. I sleep very well at night. I sleep a lot more than I probably should. I feel like there's an hour of sleep that I could lose and I could do more. I feel like there's some content that I could stop consuming and I could just create more. But anyway, that's just how I'm feeling right now. There are days where obviously I feel differently, and I'll vlog about that another time. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what your thoughts and what your real barriers and what's holding you back in terms of having the confidence to put yourself out there. Let me know that stuff in the comment section below and we'll talk about it. Anyway, like this video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the other awesome content on the channel. As always, you guys, thanks so much for watching, and don't forget, create something awesome today.